So I'm going to go over these. If you guys have any questions, you know, just make note of it, and we will I'll answer any questions you need at the end. So here we go. First one, guys. So for the first three were basically just straightforward questions. So number one asks you to find the volume of this. So again, we just start with the formula, and again, everything here is based on the formula. So you have the formula. Can you see my cursor or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the formula, and you're always going to have the formula. Next thing, you're going to plug in everything you know. So you know the pi, you know the radius squared is 36 and the height is 21. Then you're multiplying that all out, and there's your answer. I think most people got this question right. This is the answer rounded to the nearest tenth, which it asks you to do that, but if you didn't round it to the nearest tenth, if you just gave me 2,373 or 2,373.84, I took it. So as long as you're like super close, you're all good. All right. So that was number one. Number two, again, was pretty straightforward as well, but there was one little hiccup with that one. So number two, they gave it to you like this. You can also just kind of flip it around and look at it like this. And the problem with this one is they gave you the diameter. Remember, the formula is it asks for the radius squared. So you would have had to recognize that this is the diameter, so you have to cut that in half, so that becomes 14. So after I filled in everything I know, I have 3.14 times 196 times 12. And over here I got 196 because the formula, of course, the radius squared. The radius is 14, so 14 squared is 196. Multiply that all out, and there's my answer. All right? Question so far on one or two?
Nope.
And if I'm going too fast, please just let me know. Hey, when I pull up a private message on here, do you guys see that or no?
No.
Okay. All right. Next one. Let's move this out of the way. Next one, number three. Same thing. Sometimes it's just easier to look at it like this, but there you go. So I have pi r squared times the height. I filled in everything I know. I got the 3.24 because 1.8 times 1.8 is 3.24. Multiply it all out, and there's my answer. So 1 to 3 guys are pretty straightforward questions. I think 4 starts to get a little trickier. So for 4A, it's what's the area of the base? So I have these little sticky notes here. So first, we have to recognize that the question asks for the area of the base, one base. So it doesn't ask for the total of the top and the bottom base. It just says what's the area of the base. All right, so next we have to recognize the formula to find the area of a circle, which is pi times radius squared. So we've done that a few times. And then before we plug in the numbers to the formula, you have to recognize the question gives us diameter. So here's a diameter, but for right here, you look over on the right here, to find the area of a circle, its area equals pi r squared. So I got this, it's 3.14 times 2.1025. This number represents 1.45 squared because again, half of the diameter is 1.45. Multiply straight across, I get this. I round it to 6.6. By the way, guys, technically anytime you do something with area, and I don't always do it, and I would never in a million years mark you guys wrong, but technically you're supposed to have these wavy signs because all this stuff that you're doing with pi is all an approximation because, because you're not using all of pi, you're using just part of it. So, so that's A. B says what's the area of the curved surface of the can? So here's the formula for the surface area of a cylinder. So we have 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So remember, this green part here is for the circular bases, the 2 of them, and hence the number 2 here. And then this red part is for the curved surface. Now it says since the question is asking for the area of the curved surface, we just have to use the second part of the formula. So we're just using this part. So we have it over here, 2 pi r h, 2 times 3.14, times the radius, again, is 1.45, times the height is 5. Multiply that all out, I get approximately 45.5 inches squared. I didn't put inches squared, I'm sorry. It's embarrassing. Next one. 4C, what's the total surface area of the can? So we got 6.6 for A, we got 45.5 for B. So C asks us for the total surface area, so we need to add the total for the circular bases and the area of the curved surface. But wait, the answer for A is the area of the base, as in one circular base. Before we add the answers for A and B, we have to double A in order to account for the second base. So 6.6 times 2 is 13.2. Then I have 13.2 plus 45.5. That gives me 58.7. Now, boys and girls, who's got a question? I have a feeling I'm going way too fast. No questions? Okay. All right, perfect. Moving along. So for number 5 here, it says Joyce wants to make a puppet out of cardboard. She wraps the brown paper bag in a cylindrical tube. Without overlap, how much paper will she need to wrap 5 tubes? So it looks like there's no circular bases there. So on the top and bottom, it's hollow. It's like a paper towel holder. So we are only finding the surface area of the curved surface. So remember, guys, if we look back to this one, when we're just looking for the curved surface, we're just using the second part of the formula, 2 pi RH. So that's what I have here. The area is equal to 2 pi RH, 2 times 3.14. I got this 1.25 because I have to cut the diameter in half. And then, of course, I have the height. So my answer is 31.4. However, it's asked how much paper she needs to do 5 of these puppets. So I have to take this answer, 31.4, and multiply it by 5, and that's how I got 157. Okay, moving along. Number 6, a cylindrical can has a capacity of 1,250 cubic inches. What is the height of the can if the radius is 8 inches? So guys, don't forget, we're always going to start with the formula. So here's the formula. Now we plug in the things we know. In this case, we know the volume. We know pi and we know the radius. So that means we know the radius squared, because if the radius is 8 squared is 64. So here's our formula. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the 3.14 and multiply it by 64 to simplify this side. So I'm left with 1,250 equals 200.96 H. I divide both sides by 200.96 and I wind up with H, the height is equal to about 6.2 inches. Good? Okay. Number 7. So an open cylinder has a diameter of 4 centimeters and a height of 8 centimeters. Find the surface area of the cylinder. So I circle this up here because if the diameter is 4, that means the radius is 2.
Are you listening to another video, Daddy?
No, buddy, I'm on Zoom.
Oh, I forgot Obi Kenobi. Now I have 14.
Nice. All right, listen, I'll talk to you later on. Make a list, okay?
Uh-oh.
All right. So, hold on. So guys, so here's the formula for the surface area, but remember, we're just using this right part because we're just finding the area of a curved surface because, again, it's an open cylinder. It doesn't have a top or bottom. So we're using the part because there are no bases, so 2 pi RH, you fill in what you know, and we get areas equal to about 100.48 or 100.5 centimeters squared. All right. And then there's one more, guys. This one. So a cylindrical bottle holds 980 centimeters of syrup. The height of the bottle is 13 centimeters. Calculate the diameter. So it's so we're looking for the diameter. So here we go. First things first, guys. We're filling in everything we know. Here's the formula. 980 equals 3.14 times radius squared times 13. We simplify the 3.14 and the 13 to get 40.82. So we're left with 980 equals 40.82. R squared, we divide both sides by 40.82. And we find that the radius squared is equal to 24. So, but we want the radius, not the radius squared. So I'm going to go ahead and take, to find the square root of each side. So the square root of R squared is R, and the square root of 24 is 4.9. Okay? But it says, so the radius is 4.9, but remember the question is asking for the diameter. So the radius is 4.9, but the question is asking for the diameter, so we need to double the radius, because remember the radius is always only 1/2 of the diameter. So I do 4.9 times 2, I get 9.8. So the diameter equals about 9.8 centimeters. Okay, so